Hello, my dear friend. I'm glad to meet you today in this beautiful day. First of all, please let me tell you how beautiful you are without me even knowing you, okay? Because that's the truth. In the end, everything in nature is beautiful. You cannot go and see a tree and say, oh my god, that tree is so ugly, so disgusting, so undignified, okay? That's never gonna happen. But what is happening is that we as human beings, because we are in this, let's say, time and space reality and these circumstances of having a body and having a mind, we perceive things differently. And that is something that is not helping us. And let me tell you how, because this is some statement, some abstract statement, but in the end it influences and it can be encountered in every single little particle of our being and every little thought that we think. We were told that to be beautiful or to be with certain level of dignity, you need to be in a certain way. And I just realized that today I saw a video in which a woman was actually complaining, actually crying, to be honest, about the fact that baby's breath smells like food. And she was so devastated. And she was so pointing the camera for the baby, and she was living this, expressing this, and saying this in front of the baby. Now, it's food, it's not cavities, it's not something repulsive, okay? It's the food that you fed the kid with in the end. So it just got me thinking. In the beginning, I just didn't realize, but after I went about my day, it just popped into my mind. I said, hey, what's going on with that thing? Because that thing that shouldn't be there. That kind of approach shouldn't be there, because for I don't know, I'm pretty sure, as a psychologist, I'm pretty sure that child will develop some kind of feelings of inferiority and trying to compensate for some kind of disadvantages and some things that he perceived, and a lot of insecurities that will be built up in that child. So from my experience, sometimes with some people it's much easier to change, I don't know, to involve in the changing of the child rather than in the changing of the adult that was creating that situation. So this is something that we need to really pay attention to and take care of. Everything that we say, everything that we think does count and has some impact. Maybe not today, maybe not that much of an impact today. In the same idea, as a psychologist, I've been seeing a lot of things, and what I can say for sure is that the feeling of the search and the seek, the eagerness to be better than anyone or superior to some people, that comes from different sources. The sources in which you feel that you are less, that you are inferior, okay? And we need to talk about this aspect, because this aspect may come from different contexts or other aspects from the past, okay? And some of them are legit, okay? Maybe you found that you're not good at math, and based on that you project that all your life you will become less than anybody, because in all your childhood and all your, I don't know, schooling area, you were not good at math, so you were competing and you felt about yourself that you are less. But that's okay. When you are aware about that thing, you can change. The thing that is most crucial here in this aspect of feeling less, feeling inferior, is the above. When you feel inferior in any way, conscious or unconscious, you will develop a strategy to become better than anybody else or somebody else, okay? And the feeling of jealousy is there. Based on this feeling of jealousy, you will act in ways that are not sustainable, not aligned with you, are not representative for you. For chances that you will fail or something will happen are pretty big, because it's not something relevant. You're not aligned with everything that you want, okay? Your being is here and you want a goal that is over there and it's pointing in the other direction. So it's not gonna work in that way, and you need to understand what you are, and most and foremost, you need to understand what are your qualities and what you're good at, okay? Now, the message here being, you need to know exactly what your qualities are, what you're good at, to see the value of your being. does not apply to every single person. And I'm explaining you why. This feeling of, oh, I need to be secure and I be self-assured, this applies only and only for people that have a soft part, that have a soft heart, that can think, that can rationate and have a higher score of intelligence. When you look at the chart, there is correspondence. There is something you would see. There is something that you would see. And that's observation is that people who score high in intelligence, they are also very prone to doubt. And to doubt themselves, especially. Okay? And they are literally exhibiting what we call the imposter syndrome, when they are literally asking themselves, can I provide? Who am I to provide this thing? Okay? Will I be able to? And therefore anxiety is rolling. Now, the person that is not having those thoughts, therefore their score of intelligence is less, they won't have those thoughts. They would just perform, they would just do it, because that would increase their feeling of superiority. And this is the bug here. Okay, people that are elevated in their intelligence would use different strategies. Most of them would be to set them down in the areas in which they literally excel, and to adopt some strategies that really are masking their feeling of inferiority. Because here what it is, when a person is low in intelligence, okay, and when they are imperfect and they are not adopting themselves, okay, and they assume that they are great people and they are doing better stuff, okay, and they don't make mistakes. It's a very comfortable state of being. Now, what is happening is that those people can perform, those people are doing things and can achieve some other things that people who score high in intelligence cannot because of their thoughts and their anxiety and their constant feeling of, okay, I need to evaluate myself and who am I really? People would benefit out of my services? Meanwhile, the person who has low scoring intelligence wouldn't question such things, because questioning those things would be like saying about themselves that, oh, well, I'm not that good, and they assume that they are perfect. They assume that they are good. And if you look closely, you will find out that those assumptions are narcissistic alike, okay? And they are much more prone to act based on narcissistic traits and narcissistic strategies to survive, okay? And here's what happens. Usually, people who score high in intelligence and they are neurodivergent, they are much more prone to develop anxieties and to develop any kind of insecurities based on their traits, based on their functioning, based on their intelligence. Therefore, they will question themselves even more because they know they are not fitted. Therefore, the value that factually, objectively, this person with high scoring intelligence and neurodivergence can offer to the people is very increased, is high. But the fact that it has exactly those properties, it can have also the contrary effect, which is to doubt themselves, develop anxiety, and stay low, and try to function. Not to mention that alongside with these traits, you have high levels of needing to perform and needing to function. Therefore, the energy that is consumed is much more higher. So people in this area would be like much more prone to develop exhaustion, okay, because of everything that happens to the mental phase and everything that is required of them in order to function, and that is consuming like nothing else, better said. So therefore, we need to look of those things with very different eyes. And what we can see is that people who are, I just hope it's not pejorative to somebody, people who are like lower in intelligence, or therefore what we can see is that people who are much more prone to score less in intelligence, and maybe they are neurotypical, they can perform and they can execute, they can manage everything that is related with this life, okay, especially if they exhibit narcissistic traits and strategies. Okay, and this is the thing, they do not need to hear the message. You need to trust yourself. You are good enough. You need to value yourself. You did nothing wrong. It's not your fault. Because chances are it is their fault. Okay? Chances are they did something wrong. Chances are that they really need to adopt themselves in order to evolve. If a person like this thinks that they are perfect, they are the good guy, and they are always doing the right thing, they never do a mistake, they are trapped and they cannot evolve because they do not doubt themselves, because they don't question themselves, because they don't question, am I able to perform? Will I be able to deliver? Can I be service or value to the other people? Therefore, by not questioning those things, they are remaining at the same level. And this is exactly what is blocking them. So you can see here that the strong point is also the point that is keeping them in the lower states and keeping them in the lower base. So they are not evolving because they are not adopting themselves. They would need to question, and the message is that, you need to put yourself first and you need to whatever, value yourself. Those messages are not for them, okay? But at the contrary, those messages are exactly for the person who scores high in intelligence. Maybe not intelligence like IQ, okay, but maybe EQ or maybe creative skills, okay. You can see the theory of Gardner with 9 types of intelligence, but I bet there are more, okay. So when a person like this is like high in intelligence, especially in emotional skills, neurodivergency is there, you can definitely tell the message that yes, it's not your fault, because they are questioning themselves. And yes, it was not your fault and you need to get over. Chances are that this person was hurt by someone who exhibits narcissistic traits. Therefore, they are consumed by the fact that they might have done something wrong. They might have understood differently, and it's literally not your fault. From my experience, people who really struggle and really want to see what they did wrong to correct it, they are not the one at fault. Usually is the other person, okay? So this leads us to the thinking that those people need exactly that, to hear the message. You are not wrong. You are not at fault. It's not your fault. And based on that, yes, they are really, really encouraged to develop, to do everything that develop their confidence, their self-esteem, and do everything to pamper their needs, to meet their needs, and to put themselves, as I said first, to put themselves in the place of dignity and to take care of themselves. And this is what they need to hear. Now, I'm pretty sure based on this category, because otherwise I don't think that you would be here. But any the case be, you need to be aware of these 2 categories of people. If you understand these 2 categories of people, you can understand where everyone is staying, and you can act accordingly. When you know exactly whom you're dealing with, you can also adapt, but you can also know how to deal with people. In the end, we are not here to create any kind of discord, okay? So knowing which category is which person, you can really do something to make things smoother, to bridge the relationships, okay? And to know exactly what you are to share or what not, okay? Because maybe, it's not that a pejorative thing to be. Maybe it's somebody that, I don't know, is doing some kind of service for you or administrative service for you, and you don't really need to resonate with them at the deepest level in the sky and on the earth, okay? So acceptance is there, understanding is there, like bridging a communication is there, and creating some kind of relationship if needed is there, okay? But knowing this, you will be less prone to overshare, and this is the main thing that is usually bothering people in the second category, okay? Because they are oversharing because they don't know how to really connect. But at the same time, they do know exactly how to connect. Because if you take this example and you will put 2 neurodivergent people at the same place, they will know exactly how to connect in a split second. Not because they are alike, not necessarily because they recognize each other, but because it is their way of, I overshare, therefore, in neurotypical terms, I accept to be vulnerable in front of you. and the other person exactly the same, being neurotypical, has zero resistance in becoming vulnerable in front of the other. Therefore, connection is there. Actually, they are much more prone and adapted to literally to connect and to have genuine connection. But because norms of the societies is present, and not everybody is on the spectrum, therefore it's like they are less prone, and you need other skills to really manage these kind of things, like bridging, like knowing how not to mask and really create connection with everybody. And that's taking some kind of skills that we should learn, definitely. But in the end, knowing what people are from which category, what people, in the end, knowing which person belongs to which category helps you literally discern, and you would know better how to act based on that, how to manage yourself, how to conduct the environment, how to take decisions, how to share or not to share, how to stay and not to stay, and all kind of small and big decisions that are at stake. And in the case B, I hope this video was perfect for you. I just remember I published my books on Amazon. They are about this kind of dynamics. Actually, I presented here just a little tiny part, and there in those books, it's like more exhaustive presented, and they are much more complex. I am to order them and see them, touch them, and hold them in my hands. That would be such a perfect thing to do. I shouldn't have said that. And in the case B, I hope this video was perfect for you and helpful. Please subscribe and check the bell so that you get notified whenever I post something. I'm here to create a small community of people. Therefore, please make sure that if you like this video, you would stay around, because I'm not talking for algorithm. Therefore, you might not encounter me once again if you don't make sure about that. So please make sure about that, okay? Well, until next time, I wish you the best time ever and enjoy your day. Bye. Great week.